As a mom, you wear a lot of hats, and sometimes it seems like you're going in a million directions at once. At the 29-Minute Mom, we want to give you the tools to bring it all under control and reach your highest potential. If you give us a few minutes, we'll help you find those extra hours you need every week to achieve balance and satisfaction in everything you're trying to get done. The 29-Minute Mom. It's time just for you. And now, here's your host, life's organization expert, author and coach, Jennifer Ford Berry.
Hey everybody, this is Jennifer Ford Berry back again with another episode of the 29-Minute Mom, where we know every minute of your busy day counts. And today I'm excited to have a mom of 5 and author, Marielle Melling, with me today. So welcome to the show, Marielle.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I think this is the perfect timing for this episode. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff related to motherhood, and then we're going to get into some fun tips and tricks for avoiding some holiday stress, because we're right around the corner from that fun time. So I just want to go ahead and let everybody know before you share your story that you have a book out right now called Peace Amidst the Mayhem. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So what we really want to focus on today is just kind of sharing your insight of how you found peace in the midst of motherhood, especially in the midst of 5 kids. And, I just want you to share with the audience kind of my favorite part of the show is, how did you get to where you are today and what you're doing?
Yes, thank you. So I usually, when I'm talking about peace, I go back to a couple years ago, which was a really crazy time in our lives. And at the time we had 4 kids. I was actually working 4 part-time jobs. My husband was working absurd hours away from home. He was never home, really. And then we had 5. And with that, along with just being busy, we had some family challenges that we were facing, some big ones at the time. And with all of that, it dawned on me that I was somehow feeling this great amount of peace. And I thought, this isn't how it's supposed to work. Like, if anybody from the outside was looking at my life right now, they're thinking, how is that even possible? Yeah. And I started digging into things, and I saw a dear friend who had just recently become a widow, and she was experiencing this peace, and a mother a single mom, her husband had left her, and they had a tornado and it took out her home, and she was experiencing this peace. And just all of these examples and these people that I was seeing, peace has nothing to do with what's going on outside of us, and it has everything to do with what is going on inside of us. And I started to really dig into, where does that peace come from? And I am simplifying parenthood is kind of my motto. And so I love to take things to the simplest version possible. Yeah. So when it comes to peace, what I learned is inner peace is a harmony between what we're feeling, what we want, and what we're doing. And the highest level of that harmony comes when it is centered on love. And that's nothing new, right? Mm-hmm. The 2 great commandments, love God, love your neighbor. Our studies, the longest study about health and human happiness, they found what is the best measurement of health and happiness is our relationships. So this idea of love is nothing new, but when it's really simply put, inner peace comes when we are feeling completely loved and loving completely others completely. That's pretty simple. And that's something that we can aim for. And then we are looking for tools. Well, how do I actually do that? Because love in real life is messy, right? It's hard to not yell at the kids, and it's hard to actually forgive and all these other things that come up in life. So then we go into the habits and the tools that really bring that love and make it a part of who we are.
I love that. And I think that right now, that's such a good point to focus on, because everybody's focusing on things they cannot control. And it's making, us feel a lot of fear and anxiety and unease. But the thing that we can focus on, no matter where you are, where you're listening, where you're at in your life today, is you can focus on loving the people that God placed into your life more, and trying to achieve peace. If we can achieve peace this year, Marielle, in the midst of the chaos, we can do it anytime in our life.
Anytime.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it would be a really great thing if in 2021 we said the one big lesson we learned in 2020 was how to maintain peace in the midst of chaos, pure and utter chaos.
Yeah.
So I love this
Yeah.
message.
I'd love to share one story when this friend that I mentioned, her husband was battling cancer for years, and we found out he was going on hospice. And I was with my son in the car and we were driving, and I just started crying, and he said, "Mom, what's wrong?" And I told him what was happening, and he said, "Mom, why didn't the prayers work?" And he was young at the time. And so really a quick answer worked for him, but I started just thinking, what do I say when he's older and has like more follow-up questions with that? And how do we answer that for everybody who feels like the prayers aren't working? And for myself, when life is hard and things aren't working out the way that I hoped or planned. And a little bit after that, we went to visit this family. And as we were there, I had this really deep feeling, the prayers are working. Here is this couple, 3 beautiful children, and his body is physically falling apart, but they are loving each other. Mm-hmm. They were laughing. They were feeling peace, even knowing that he was going to pass away soon. Mm-hmm. And then at the funeral, not too long after that, I hadn't had this conversation with my friend, but at the funeral, she wasn't supposed to speak, but at the end, she felt the need to speak. So she got up and, through her tears, she said, "You know what, I just feel like I need to say, and my husband would want me to say, prayers were answered." And I think sometimes we think that peace will come when our prayers answer the way we think. Mm-hmm. But God says, "You know what? I am going to give you peace, but I'm not going to give it the way the world gives it." Cancer might not go away. The pandemic might not go away. The job that you've been working so hard for might not work out, but I am still going to give you this peace. And what I'm asking you to do is love me and love others.
Mm-hmm. So simple, but so powerful, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, when you're saying that story, that's one thing that keeps coming to my mind is peace really just comes from God. It doesn't come from anything else.
And we have to be open to that.
Yes. We have to, and don't feel guilty about it, right? Because a lot of times when people are going through hard things in life, if they were to say, "Well, I feel peace when my husband's dying," they feel guilty, like they shouldn't feel that way. But peace is a gift from God. And you don't decide when somebody's going to give you a gift. You just accept it or you don't, right?
Right.
Yeah. So very, very cool. So go ahead and just tell us real quick, what are the ages of your 5 kids?
So we're in birthday season. Everybody's about to be different. So within the next 3 weeks, we'll have 13, 11, 9, 4, 2.
Okay. So just to give, the listeners kind of insight on where you're at in motherhood. So 5 between the ages of 13 and 2 can be very messy.
Yes. Yes.
What are some of the things, like some of the routines you've implemented or systems or tricks or tips or whatever you can share with those moms that are at that point in life where they have small children, there's a lot going on, and they're just some of those days they think it's always going to be this way, right? Me knowing, my kids are older, so I have an 18 and 15-year-old. I know you can get through it,
yes.
And you're going to miss it when it's gone.
Yes.
But those women that are listening that really need concrete strategies, what would you say to them?
Awesome. So number 1, I would say a daily personal quiet time. And I know if you haven't done this before, it's like, I don't have time for that. I can't even pee alone. Like that is not possible right now. But it is. So I remember that crazy, crazy time when my husband wasn't even there. You can make it happen in any season. And once you get in the habit of it, you will see how magical it is. And during that personal daily quiet time, that's your time for personal worship, for prayer, for expressing gratitude, for connecting and saying, how am I loving? What do my children really need from me right now? I have a little acronym that I love to teach, where we take something that is blocking the love that we're feeling or the love that we're giving. Maybe it's a specific habit or a behavior. Maybe we haven't forgiven somebody fully, or, we have pride around something our kids are doing or whatever it is. And it's A, B, C, D, E. So A, first we become aware of it. And this is something I do during my personal quiet time. If something comes up, I become aware of it, and I say, hey, this is happening. Usually it takes somebody else to help me recognize that, either the spirit or, somebody says something or you hear something and you're like, oh, that is a problem for me.
Yeah.
And then B, and this is the one I find we often skip, but we look at the benefits. What am I getting from holding on to this? So for example, with like resentment, what is the benefit of holding on to that resentment? Why does my subconscious like it, right? And oftentimes it's protecting me. If I am holding that grudge, I'm feeling like I'm going to be protected. I'm not going to let somebody hurt me that way again. Or we feel like we're doing something to solve the problem at least, or whatever that might be. But we have to look at the benefits that we're getting from it. And then C, we're looking at the consequences. And those are the negative consequences, since we just looked at the positive benefits.
Yeah.
Of what is this actually doing to my life? How is it affecting my peace? How is it affecting my kids? How is it affecting the other people that I'm with? And then D is decide, is there a better way, right? What is the more loving alternative? And when we really get down to it in this resentment example, it's that forgiveness. And maybe if it's a big one, I think with parents is control, right? Deciding to let go of control, because we can't control our kids as much as we want to.
Right.
And then E is embracing that loving option. And so like with control, instead of control, I'm embracing influence. How can I influence my children for good? How can I teach them and be an example rather than trying to dictate or control their behavior? So that's something that we can work through in that quiet time. And it's also a chance to deep breathe, to just like take that moment and reset for the day. And as I said, it is magical. So if you haven't been doing that, do it. Like let the kids, I don't care if the screen's got to watch them for 20 minutes or wake up 20 minutes early. When you make it a priority and do it, you'll love it.
So true. I mean, and it's basically you're just like you're putting gasoline in your car. You're fueling yourself. You're giving yourself that quiet time to kind of decide where you want to drive the day to, too. You know what I mean? Like, do I want to come from a place of love, or do I want to come from a place of unforgiveness? Do I want to come from a place of I'm stressed out, so that means I'm going to be, quick to snap, or do I want to come from a place of patience? So yeah, when we get up and just run into the day without taking time to decide, we aren't in control.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to be in control of yourself. Right?
Yeah. Honestly, I always say that the hardest part of parenting actually has nothing to do with the kids.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you think about it, right? Like the kid has a tantrum and sometimes we handle it like a boss, like we're so calm and we're so patient and we realize that's just a kid's stage and we're fine. And then sometimes they have a tantrum and it is like full on adult meltdown mode. Yes. And it doesn't have to do with the kid, right? It's what's going on inside of me.
Don't you find that parenting is part of your growth process that, God intended? I mean, it basically is pushing all of your limits, pushing you to become the best version of yourself, seeing your flaws, wanting to fix your flaws so your kids don't emulate those flaws. It's absolutely an amazing growth process. It really is.
It's very refining.
Yeah. And it's very interesting too, because when you are in the middle of parenting, you can choose how to parent. You don't have to parent the exact way your parents parented you. You can, if you take these opportunities to have quiet time and really create a vision for your life and your parenting, you can grow deeper into your best self and then become a better parent because of that. And that's why the quiet time is so important, because if you don't do that, you're kind of just going along with what you've always known and other examples you've seen. And that might not be the best example for your kids. So it's really cool.
We can also bring ourselves back to that throughout the day, right? So, and I know like at one stage, the only quiet time I could get was after the kids were in bed. And so my quiet time came at the end of the day. So just right off the bat, it's a quick prayer or a quick thought. I have a mindfulness practice that I love. And it's just when I start feeling like I'm losing patience or, I'm about to ask for the 100th time, just put away the toys. Mm-hmm. And I call it the but principle. So I acknowledge what I'm feeling. I tell myself, I deep breathe a couple times, and I take that moment to feel it and say, okay, I am feeling frustrated right now. I am feeling ignored right now. I am feeling like nobody appreciates me right now, whatever that might be.
Usual.
And then enters the but. And my mom always said this. She said, but means bottom underlying truth. And so I say, I am feeling super frustrated right now, but bottom underlying truth is I love my child. And so I am going to choose to move forward in this moment with patience or with, an understanding that, they're trying their best or they're just kids and they're going to learn eventually or whatever it is. But bringing it back to that but, the bottom underlying truth is I love my child.
I love
and
that.
That helps me refocus throughout the day and all those little moments that are coming up all the time.
So good. So a lot of what you're saying is, how you find your peace is the mindfulness part of this, is the stopping from a busy schedule and taking a few minutes. And it doesn't take very long. So anybody can do this. And it might feel uncomfortable at first. It might feel like you don't have time. But like you said, it becomes magical and it becomes something that you probably crave. I don't know how, I have done my morning devotionals for years. And I just feel like the days that I hurry out and don't do it are the worst days. I'm just not set. I'm not set in the right frame of mind. So and
time is such a weird thing too, right? It's almost like when we come into the day with this kind of energy and this kind of focus, we almost have more time.
Yeah.
Like we're able to get more done and we're able to enjoy doing it. And our kids respond better to us because we're throwing this energy at them that is positive. And
so true.
We really don't have time not to do it.
Exactly.
We're being honest.
A lot of times moms get really stressed. We're going to go into the holiday season really soon here. And that means more responsibilities are put onto our already busy plates. In our minds, we want to be a Hallmark movie and be sipping hot cocoa by the fireplace. And we're so peaceful and happy. But I think that that's possible if you have realistic expectations, number one, and you plan ahead. So how do you kind of avoid that holiday stress and anxiety and just the extra messiness?
Yeah, the holidays are awesome. They really magnify everything, right? They magnify the stress, they magnify the magic, all of that. So one I find really important thing is to be really clear about our purpose and intention for this season. And something that gets in the way of that is perfectionism, right? And is really stressing about the details and stressing about the details. And so it's bringing it back to that but the underlying purpose here is that I want to have a season that is connected with those I love, that is celebrating, gratitude and the Savior and that underlying purpose of what we're trying to do. So going into it, I think it's really important to have that clear intention and then bring ourselves back to it. When we find ourselves stressing about the details, I like to just stop and say, why? Okay, why am I serving this meal, right? Is it really so that everybody can ooh and ah over how great of a cook I am, which I'm not at all. So that's not ever my intention. But, sometimes we get wrapped up in that. Or is it really to win the neighborhood decoration contest? Or, sometimes we just get wrapped up in it and we forget. And gifts are a big one. Like, is the purpose really to make sure that everybody gets 10 gifts? Or is it to show, hey, I love you and I understand, what you enjoy and I want to share this moment with you.
Yeah.
So just bringing it back to the purpose in the moment. And then, like you said, planning, I think the best way to avoid stress planning wise is to start early and just break it down really small. Yeah. And then, plan like your life depends on it and then be willing to let go and say, if it doesn't go according to plan, are we still loving each other? Are we still, it sounds like I'm always saying the same thing, but it really does come back to that. Yeah. And sometimes we lose touch.
No, I love that you're reminding everybody of that. And I think this year, we're going to have to feel that love more than ever. So really, really important. And we might have to celebrate differently. I mean, personally, I'm not going to, but a lot of people are going to choose that path. And this might be a year to change some things that you've always felt obligated to do that you're kind of tired of doing, and make new traditions for you and your kids. So
yeah,
I
think this year too, we have an opportunity. I think there's going to be people who are hurting this year, whether it's financially or because they can't celebrate with a loved one, or maybe they've lost a loved one to COVID recently, or, whatever the situation might be. I feel like there's this kind of the collective grief in a lot of ways. And we have an opportunity to reach out to others and to serve them through this time, and to just be there, right? And listen and let them work through whatever grief or sorrow that they have with us as a safe space.
Love it. Love it. And it's free.
Yep.
You have the money to serve, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. I love this. These are all such tangible ideas, Marielle. I really appreciate that you have just kind of made it simple, reminded the moms listening that what's really, really important, but also given them tangible things to take away with. So I think it's really awesome. I'm so glad that you came on the show. And I just wish that, pray for happiness and health for your family this year and throughout the holiday season. And to all the moms that are watching and listening today, we really appreciate you. So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
How can everybody find you?
Great. So my hub is my website. That's www.lovin, Lovin, life with littles. And then I'm also on Instagram and Facebook at that same handle.
Okay. And what about your book, which is once again,
my book, is Peace Amidst the Mayhem. It is available on Amazon or Barnes & Noble online, and most places online. If you just Google that or my name, it should come up.
Yeah. Might be a great gift idea for the
especially, it came out last year, and I keep saying, like, I had no idea the mayhem 2020 would bring.
Right?
God knew. God put it in my heart and got it out in this timing. So hopefully it serves people this year too.
Yes. Well, best wishes for that book to succeed.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. Do you plan on writing more books?
I do. Yeah, I've got lots in the works and haven't decided exactly which way to go with it yet. I'm focusing a lot on coaching too right now. So
yeah.
Lots of ways to try and share the message.
Absolutely. And the world needs it. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day. Thanks to everybody listening to another episode of the 29-Minute Mom. If you like the show, make sure you comment. We need all the comments and reviews that we can get to boost this podcast up to the next level. So we really appreciate your feedback. And we'll be back again next week.